lovelies. This is Tamala Clover, and this is another episode of Trailblazers.
Hi, my name is Lori Gabriel, and today I'm going to be talking about Christina Ricci, the most fabulous Wednesday of all, besides Jenna Ortega. Christina Ricci is an American actress. She is best known for playing unusual characters with a dark edge. Ricci works mostly in independent productions, but has also appeared in numerous box office hits. She is the recipient of Golden Globe, Screen Actors Guild, and Primetime Emmy Award nominations. Ricci made her film debut at the age of 9 in Mermaids, which was followed by a breakout role as Wednesday Addams in The Addams Family, and its sequel, Addams Family Values. At 17, she moved into adult-oriented roles with The Ice Storm, which led to parts in several independent features. On television, Ricci appeared as Liza Bump in the final season of Ally McBeal. She had a guest role on Grey's Anatomy, for which received an Emmy Award nomination for Outstanding Guest Actress. Ricci produced and starred in the series The Lizzie Borden Chronicles and Z, The Beginning of Everything. In 2021, Ricci began playing Misty Quigley on Showtime's Yellow Jackets, for which she received her second Emmy nomination, this time for Outstanding Supporting Actress. In 2022, she appeared as Marilyn Thornhill in the Netflix series Wednesday. In 2010, Ricci made her Broadway debut in Time Stands Still. Her acting style. Ricci has no formal acting training. People explained things to me in very simple ways, when I was a child on set. Then as I got older, I started understanding things in more complicated ways, and this created my own mind games, methods, and rules in my head, she later explained. It's such a weird, completely internal thing. Every actor works in a different way. I just take the script and I figure out a way to deliver what needs to be delivered. Ricci earned a reputation as a goth in the 1990s through her work in the Addams Family films and other portrayals of dark, quirky characters. Tim Burton once described her as having an ambiguous quality. She looks at you and you get a definite feeling, but you're not quite sure what that feeling is. Ricci told a journalist in 2022 that casting directors were often reluctant to place her in certain projects when she was younger. At that time, I did a lot of indies because in mainstream movies, there were still a lot of leading lady standards that I didn't fall into. My agents used to say, "We have to be so careful you don't become a character actress. If we're not careful, you're going to end up just like Jennifer Jason Leigh." I was like, "But I like her." They were so afraid of me not being a leading lady, of me not being sexually attractive to people. Ricci loved the whole acting thing. Even as a kid, she knew a normal childhood was not for her. She has stated, "I always knew that I was kind of bored. The regular life of a child didn't fit me. I wanted to work. I wanted to be utilized." The press. Ricci has said, "When I was younger, a lot of the strange things I said were based on the fact that I was so aware how weird it was. People were asking me questions, and I was like, I'm 17. I have nothing of value to add. I haven't lived a life yet. I can't tell you how I feel about this or that. Don't ask me my opinions on things." I mean, they would ask me about women's issues, and the industry. I had no idea. I didn't know what to tell them. So I would say something obnoxious or anything to be funny. It turned into an awkward mess. Examples of what she said are as follows. I'm not afraid to die. And it's such a natural thing to have sex with your parents. Ricci has since confirmed that these statements were ironic and nothing more than a teenager spouting obnoxious things. Childhood, then and now. Ricci states, it's such a different world than it was when I was coming of age. I don't know how these young people keep it together with all the demands of them with social media and the internet. I had normal growing pains and issues, and it was so difficult, but not disastrous. But I feel like if I was trying to do that in this environment, the way that society is now, I would probably be a total disaster. Anxiety, depression, and an eating disorder. As a teenager in New Jersey, Ricci developed an eating disorder and struggled with depression and anxiety. Ricci has stated, I think the reason why many child stars don't make it is that it's hard to see someone as cute and then all of a sudden they become adults. In hindsight, I was lucky that when I was younger, nobody thought of me as cute. Christina Ricci says mental health wasn't a big topic back then. She has said that she suffered from anorexia as a teenager and was SA as a child. Ricci stated, there was no discussion at that time about trauma and about recovering from things, about PTSD, she said. As a result, she ended up acting out and coping in ways that weren't good. She has stated also that it's just really awkward to go through puberty and go through growing up and becoming a woman when everybody is also kind of looking at you. In her senior year, Ricci moved to New York with her mother, a period during which she gained weight quickly. She was not getting parts, and her anxiety was getting the best of her. I felt like a failure, she has said. Okay.
How Christina Ricci copes with her mental health symptoms today. Ricci said she has tools and coping mechanisms to help navigate mental health in her daily life, including what she described as inner child work. I talk to myself as though I'm a little girl when I'm really sad or I'm having a really hard time, Ricci explained. I speak to myself as though I am my own mother. She added that if her younger self was in the room with her today, this is what she would tell her. I would probably just explain to her why she was going through the things she was going through, to things she had suffered in her past. I think just someone understanding that allows them to separate the chaos in their heads from what's actually going on in reality. Because well, the problem with trauma is that you're still experiencing it as though those things are going on, even though your life is okay and you're safe now. I think that would be my biggest thing I would explain to my younger self. Usually anxiety makes me wake up at around 5 a.m. every day, and I spend that time just doing this. It's not really a meditation, but it's something someone taught me a long time ago, where I basically walk myself through the day and I decide in advance how I'm going to manage any situation that could happen, how I'm going to feel, how I'm going to react. By doing that and then going through my whole day, it actually makes me feel more able to get up and go. She sought professional help early enough and managed to find a healthy balance between her life and career. Soon transitioned out of her oddball teen roles and into more mature ones, that was soon earning her accolades, including Golden Globe and Emmy nominations. More successes. Ricci is listed in several art publications as one of artist Mark Radin's muses. Her image has appeared in several of his oil paintings and sketches. She married hairdresser Mark Hampton, and the couple have 2 children together. Activism. In Black Snake Moon, Christina Ricci has said that rough sex scenes were painful, partly because one of her fellow cast members, rap producer David Banner, had no previous acting experience. In one scene with Banner, Ricci said, "I was being hurt. It kind of felt like being SA'd. It was hard. I felt terrible, but it wasn't Dave's fault at all." Ricci saw herself on film posters posing seductively in a navel-bearing top and short shorts for the movie. This was the reason Ricci became a national spokesperson for the Essay and Abuse National Network, RAINN, RAINN. Christina states, "Victims tell me of the struggles they face every day and the hurdles they've had to overcome." I want to talk about her tools that she uses for dealing with her mental health stuff, because those are tools that I actually use myself, and I've done a lot of therapy, a lot of self-work. I know that we both have some background in psychology, and the thing that I found that really helps best with that childhood trauma is that inner child work. I also talk to myself like I'm a little girl and that I'm the person that is a loving parental figure, and that has really helped with that negative self-talk in a way that just thinking alone didn't help enough. And also the meditation element of planning out your day, to me, that sounds a lot like defensive pessimism, which is a technique that some people who have experienced trauma use to cope with their anxiety. And it's something that I engage in too, where I will look out the scenarios, play them out so that I feel like I'm prepared for whatever happens. And I just like that she not only said that she has tools, but she explained what those tools are in a very understandable way that invites other people to look into those things for themselves. Because I think a lot of us, unfortunately, have experienced trauma. And I agree that society isn't always as supportive as it could be in these things, and it often falls upon ourselves to do the work that we need to find that healing. But it is possible, even if you don't get that care right away, to make progress. Like I didn't start seeing a therapist until I was already an adult, and I have made so many strides. I know firsthand that it's possible. It's just easier the sooner you can get that help. But it is possible for anyone. I believe that truly. What about you, Lori? What do you think of everything?
I think there's several thoughts going in my head here. I think it's commendable that she got help early on because it shows that she wasn't afraid to get help. Or she might have been afraid, but she was willing to go and step out of her comfort zone to go get help, which I think that's half the battle for a lot of people. Because you don't want to be judged, you don't want somebody to say you're wrong, or just you don't want other people to find out and all that other kind of stigma stuff. And it seems like she was dealing with a lot of issues all at once. So it must have been a very challenging time. So I can see why she would go towards more working all the time and wanting to be useful and wanting to get jobs done. So she could probably, I don't know for certain, but it's a safe place for her on set. And then I think also it was a way for her to let out whatever creativity she has in a place where people would appreciate it. So I do think that she's one of the most enigmatic personalities. I remember watching her like in Mermaids and just be like, she was so like, I know she didn't have a huge role in that movie, but it really, her and Winona Ryder really clicked as if they were actual sisters. and the wacky adventures that they went on. The scene where they're in the pool in their bathtub, and I'm not going to get into the movie too much, but those scenes, like she was really like she could project emotions really well and project whatever behaviors through nonverbal communication and very well. So I think that was, that's awesome that she was so talented at an early age and she was able to go into acting. I do, and Addams Family, like her sarcasm is just, it's perfect because there's this joke about like these Girl Scouts are asking them to buy cookies and they're Wednesday's asking if they're made out of real Girl Scouts. And it's such a deadpan delivery, but it's so funny. So I think she's just an immense talent, and it's interesting that she never went to acting school, and how she was able to. Maybe there's some form of disassociation when she's doing roles, as a coping strategy. I'm not sure. I haven't talked. I clearly haven't talked to her, and but there's a whole lot of things that could be going on for her besides just obviously being an immense talent naturally. And I think that as far as her mental health struggles, I think it's a good idea for her and a lot of people that have that platform of being celebrities to humanize this so that everybody understands they're not better than us, they're not superior to us, they're just other human beings. And we can also understand that we're not alone in that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's awesome that she was able to not only speak out about it and get help, but also just to be a role model for so many people.
Yeah, I think those two things, the activism and also just like doing it her own style, like you said, without that training experience, where she's just like, I'm gonna embrace who I am and do it my way and figure it out. And that is like that's a talent, and I think that's something that real trailblazers have that we've seen in some of the earlier episodes that we've done, is like these people who are very innovative. And that's something that reaching out for help, doing the work, something to take away from Christina Ricci is also that ability to accept who you are, just embrace like not knowing how to do things the way other people do it, but finding your own way to do it.
Yeah, I agree. She's very independent and she was not afraid to take risks. Obviously, she wasn't going to risk life and limb, but she did take the risk to get out of trouble, to get help, and to do things her own way. And so those are huge strengths that, a lot of people have that maybe they don't see themselves as having. So because of mental health or other issues that are going on. So I think it's important to remember to celebrate your strengths. So and, to acknowledge them, obviously, clearly. That's the first step. So, all right. So thank you everyone for sticking with the video through the whole entire run of it. We really appreciate you watching this episode. Please subscribe. It really helps us get more viewers and getting these messages out about how to overcome adversity. And just let us know what you'd like to see next.
Hi,
And
Lovely.
there you go. All right.